One thing I do to help avoid unexpected change of plans is I try to keep on top of the things that I can keep on top of regarding maintenance on our motorhome. Maintenance such as windshield wiper blades. You know, you don't want them flying off in a rainstorm. You know, you want to make sure they're working right. My headlights, my turn signals, my tires, tire pressure, my DOT numbers that are on my tires, make sure they're within the time limit. So you want to pay attention to your tires. I look at the tire, make sure there's no cracks or splits in it. Lugs, right here's my tire pressure monitoring sensor for my tires. I think it's a TST 507 system, which lets me know my tire pressure. And then right in here would be my DOT stamp, 3922, 39th week of 2022 is when this tire was made. So it's basically good to like 7 years, 2029, I would say. And you will probably run your date out before you'll ever run these treads out. But that's just RV life. Because a car tire will come like a 50,000 mile, 70,000 mile warranty. RV tires don't come with that. So that's the RV tire, and the RV tire date codes and maintaining the correct pressure is paramount. You don't want it underinflated so it's riding on the edges, and you don't want it overinflated so it's riding in the middle. So kind of keep a happy medium there. As far as the tire pressure itself, it varies on the weight of your RV.
Which is another thing.
That's a big discussion in the forums. How much air do I put in my tire? Well, you have to get it weighed and then go from there. They usually have charts that tell you. When I did inspect this tire one time, the valve stem was broke and the sensor was missing, but it wasn't leaking air. It was broke off before the stem, and I caught it, but when I caught it I was too far away. I think it was broken when we had the generator service. They drove the motorhome up on the rack, because I've got right here, you can see where this gouged. So I think they got it too close to the edge. When they did that, they took this off too. That's a hypothesis there.
So if you have any work done, inspect your RV
inspect
after.
your RV, because I didn't know that till I got way down the road and I happened to look and I said, where's my valve stem? And then I saw it was cracked, so I'd have a new valve stem put in. So anyway, that's just things that you can check. Luckily it was held air. I want to keep my batteries up on water, make sure my jacks are lubed up right, keep my motorhome and my generator both current with oil changes and filters. I have a container in the back that's got the jack fluid in it. Supposed to change that every other year. Keep on top of that. I keep an eye out on my electric cord, make sure there's no blackening around the where the prongs go together. That might give an indication of loose connection in there for overheating, and to keep those prongs from burning as they're connected. And then of course I just keep a track of my filters and all that, which that wouldn't necessarily stop you from going anywhere if you have a water filter or something. Keep my valves greased on my holding tanks, and of course then we do the walk around as far as I keep our roof sealed. You're supposed to do that every other year, have your roof resealed. Make sure my awning is working well, it's coming out and going back in. I look to see if it's got any major rips in it. I keep all the mechanisms on it greased and lubed, so I don't get my awning stuck out, I can't get it back in or something like that. Keep an eye on everything. You know, this is the awning. You know, we kind of look up there and make sure it's in the tracks. You know, I grease everything up in here. This is where the motor is. This is what turns the whole thing. It's a gear right here.
And we've had that replaced, correct?
And on top of that, your sensor, your wind sensor. So yeah, I don't trust the wind sensor. It's supposed to automatically track, but not trusting that. And one thing I would keep an eye on is the wind pertaining to the awning. You don't want to come back on a windy day and see your awning laying across the top of your RV or ripped up in your neighbor's yard. We always bring it in if it's going to be windy or if we're going to leave. Same with water. You might want to consider turning your water off if you're going off on a trip somewhere. So that way, if a line breaks inside, you're not just flooding water all that time that you're gone, because you got your water shut off.
Has that ever happened to you?
And it has happened to us. Luckily, where it broke, it drained straight out the bottom of the RV by the water tank. So that's kind of some of the things that I look out for as far as the outside of the motorhome goes. Same with the car, basically. Just ditto that over, or copy and paste that over to the car. Tires, oil, etc. Now, if you want to walk back here, this is our propane tank. This is where the fittings are. And of course, we got this is the sensor that tells you how much from the inside, but it's also got a gauge. And you got some more fittings up in here, up in there. Now you can take a spray bottle like Dawn detergent and spray those fittings and make sure they're not leaking. Spray all this too. If you see bubbles, then you got problems. But usually you can smell propane. But you don't want to have a propane issue. As far as batteries go, I have 2 house batteries here, and I got 2 house batteries over here. And these are acid fill batteries. And since you can see they're very hard to get to be able to look inside, I have a battery fill system. So what this is, this hooks to this, goes inside the distilled water, and I pump it. When it stops, when the ball gets hard, the batteries are full. I got one for each set of batteries. About once a month, I'll make sure my batteries are topped off.
I think we did a video on that.
Probably. And a lot of people are changing to lithiums or glass mat batteries, but you don't have to do that. I might do that the next time I change these, but for now, they're good. That's the reservoir for the hydraulic jacks. I believe it holds 6 quarts. As you can see, there's no drain. You add fluid and take fluid out of here. So I use a hand pump to change the fluid with. I pump it out and then I pump the new fluid in. I think they say to do that every 2 years. That's actually transmission fluids in there. ATF, Dextron, the latest one, whatever that is. This is our water heater. This is the standard 6-gallon gas water heater, not electric. As you can see, now we have replaced the valve, this area, the valve right here, and I put a new motherboard in. It's not hard to do. It's fairly simple. This is very easy to put in. That's the igniter switch. And this right here is your orifice. And what you do if you start seeing a lot of black soot up here, coming out your vent up here, either your, it could be that your gas, your air is not set right, or you've got a lot of critters blocking this tube. We had a lot of stink bugs clog this whole thing up, and it wasn't working right. But you can get stink bugs up in there. You can get dirt knobbers. So all you got to do is just take this off, which is very easy, and clean it out. Put it back together, and that might eliminate your soot issue. This is where our motor is, and I keep the oil changed in this. I do it myself. It holds 16 quarts of oil. It's got a fuel filter and an oil filter. I use Shell Rototella 15W40 oil. Fleet Guard. I use Fleet Guard filters. This is a Fleetwood. I get them from Amazon. To do this, and my generator cost me, I'm going to say around $200, $220 to do it all myself. It's very easy to do for me. Everything's accessible. I believe at one of the major outlets, service departments, they charge $329 oil only, up to 16 quarts. For the motor diesel, I believe they said $249 for a generator to change the oil. It's only 3 quarts of oil, but that's what they had on their paper. So you're looking at $580 versus, say, $250.
And that's without oil filters, correct?
Yeah, that's extra. 2 starting batteries. Now these are glass. That's why I don't have to check them. case you don't know where your surge guard is, this is where your transfer switch is for your generator and shore power. And this right here is the battery control panel. Inside it are a lot of fuses for non-chassis related items. Chassis related items, which would be like your car stuff, like your light turn signals and all that, are up front in ours anyway. But this would be for like the power lift chairs and water pump and stuff like that. It's all in there, and there's a lot of them in there. As I spray some grease up in here, make sure my handle's working good and keeps greased. I grease my hinges, and then I get rubber seal, and every now and then I'll spray these gaskets to make sure they stay kind of pliable and they don't get brittle. There's the oil I use right there. See, I'm getting ready to change mine in. There's the filter. That's what it looks like. That's the lube filter. That's a fuel filter. But one thing that happened to us, actually on the other side on our door where our valves are, this is the handle, this is the bracket, or the catch, whatever you want to call it, for the latch. But these bolts backed out. So this thing got really loose, and it allowed the door to open up while we were going. The door went.
But don't worry, people will let you know.
Yeah. So you might want to make sure that these stay tight, because if this thing loosens up or that bolt falls out, this door's going to open. So that was one thing I learned. Make sure those two little screws are locked in there good.
It probably goes without saying, you need to go around and check bolts and screws routinely too, right?
Yeah. Same thing with your furnace. You don't want to see any soot. That's our dryer vent. We do like our dryer, and it's dented. This is my tow hitch, the Roadmaster Falcon all-terrain non-binding tow bar. Generally keep it covered, but I keep all these greased and lubricated, everything that moves. I don't want nothing in this thing binding up, even though it's non-binding. I don't want to take a chance on over towing. One thing I did, this is a 2013, and these got real, they got real cloudy, discolored, especially this one. So I ordered new ones. They're very easy to install. They plug out and plug in, 3 screws and it comes out. So I replaced all of these around the whole motorhome. It's not an expensive project at all. I don't remember what it cost, but it's I think it was less than $100 actually to replace those side and the ones in the front. And they're clear and they look nice. I think they made the whole back end look nice, not being all cloudy back here. This is our tow bar, hooks to the Roadmaster, and I might want to make sure that everything is secured. It's all bolted. The pins are good in the back that holds it, mounting brackets. Make sure my cables are good. My pins that lock it on. Make sure my bolts aren't cracked anywhere that hold it on, stress cracks or anything. And just want to keep an eye on that too. And this right here is where my safety brake hooks to, so I can just make sure that that's doing what it's supposed to do too. It's not falling off. This is our topper, slide topper. And I just look up to the hinges and make sure they're right. Now this one might be having issues we might have to address pretty soon, because I'll show you we are starting to get some tear up here.
If you don't want tear, don't go west.
So this part might need to get replaced. Then of course underneath you want to make sure all of your that gasket up there is greased so that it slides in easy. Of course the main bracing there retracts in and out. Keep everything under here. My thing is, if it looks like it moves, put grease on it or lube.
It's another tear.
Yeah.
And not anything to do with functionality, but it's The paint has faded.
And they make a product you can buy at an auto parts store called Back to Black. We'll turn this right back to this color.
We need to apply it.
And it'll stay that way for probably a month or better.
Yeah.
It works really well. So that was a general walk around of our motorhome on some items that I kind of look and check to help avoid me from having an on-the-road breakdown or something that we weren't expecting to happen. Now, of course, every rig is different, but there are some basic things that are the same, whether it's a travel trailer, a fifth wheel, or a motorhome, is you all have tires. Everything's got a water heater of some sort. You have roofs, you have slide outs, you have awnings. Basically, you know, there are some things that are alike and there's something that are different. So that was us, kind of what I do. And hopefully, so far, we have not broke down over really anything that we missed, so to speak. We broke down with a drive belt broke, nothing I could do about that. And we also had our surge guard, transfer switch, went out on the power side. That's nothing that was that we could control on that either.
Generator too, completely out of our...
Generator sensor went out in that. Nothing we could do to check that. So we do try to keep up on stuff. Oh, and that it gives you peace of mind, knowing at least you're starting out pretty good shape.
Pretty okay.
Yeah.
and if anything happens, it'll be like, okay, well, we did our due diligence, and then you roll with it. You deal with it.
Of course, the list could go on bigger than that. That was a general over what we do to try to prevent unexpected breakdowns. So put in the comments what you do, or add to the list that we did what you do to try to avoid unexpected breakdowns, and share with other people that way, or ask a question. Be glad to answer it if my knowledge is that great. If not, I'll say I don't know, but I'll give you an answer if I can. This is a learning as we go.
Right, but we have been on the road for a few years now, but
we have had some stuff.
We don't know everything.
Yes.
I'm okay with not learning some of this stuff.
This was Gary here, Sharon behind the camera, Rough Road RV Life, and our little walk around maintenance thing of our old 33 footer here. Click like and subscribe if you would, helps us out. Hope to see you on the road someday. Not behind a tow truck, camping and being happy. Take care.